Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Lawrence. I'm back with the task 5 of the water park project in your packet. So at the top of the paper, this is the page that says Water Park Project Part 2. So we have congratulations. After working hard to design your water park on a coordinate system, your supervisor is very pleased with your efforts and the results. Now that the planning stage is finished, your park has been selected for construction. Site development is underway and you have been hired as a consultant to work with the development team. Your role is to apply your math skills in the following tasks, which will then be submitted for review to your supervisor. Keep your work neat and organized so that they can accurately assess your abilities. So in task 5, we're asked to calculate the distance from one point in your water park to another. So you've been asked to determine using the distance formula how far away certain attractions are from one another. This will provide them with the information they need to expand the park from your scale blueprint to actual dimensions. Calculate the distance in unit dimensions by applying your selected attraction points from task 2. So task 2 again was the task where we just listed all of the ordered pairs for our points. So wherever your points were, you listed them there in task 2. And then we're going to use the distance formula. So the distance formula is as follows. So they didn't give you the full formula for whatever reason, but here it is. So the distance formula is it's the square root of, you're taking the two ordered pairs. So if I'm looking, we're going to focus here at the toddler and concessions because that's the point that we've kind of been, the two that we've been focusing on with the other tasks. So if I look at the distance from the two ordered pairs for the toddler area to concessions, I would be using the x values. I'm going to take the difference of the x values for both of those 2 points. And then I'm going to add, and I'm going to square that difference. And then I'm going to add that to the difference of the y values, again, square that. And so we're going to add those together. And then finally, we would take the square root. So it's a couple steps. Just want to keep your work neat and organized so it'll all be clear and make sense. So again, I'm going to label this for my x2, x1, and y2, y1. So I'm just going to call this x1, y1, sorry. And then we're going to say this is x2 and this is y2. So when we're calculating it, we can keep it straight. So I know I'm going to need to take the square root of those distances. I'm going to take the square root of those distances. So if I look at my formula here where I'm pointing, so we have x2. So x2, we're going to say 10 minus x1, which is 5. And that's going to be squared. Plus, then we're going to take y2, which we've labeled as right here, so it's -9 minus, and then it says y1, and we're saying y1 is right here, -3. I'm going to extend this out, and I'm going to square that, okay? So I've plugged in my values into my formula, so that's what you're going to want to do is you want to take that formula, plug in your values. So now, second step is I'm going to start evaluating this. I'm going to start simplifying this down. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take care of what's inside the parentheses, kind of follow order of operations here. So 10 minus 5 is 5, so that's going to be 5 squared plus, we need to take -9 minus -3. Remember your integer rules here, or use your calculator. Oh, sorry, I hit the camera. I kind of started wobbling a little bit. My apologies. We're going to change this to addition, change this to its opposite, make that a +3. So that would be -9 plus a +3. So -9 plus a +3 is going to be -6. So we're going to have -6 here, and that's going to be squared. So first I plugged in. And now I'm going to start evaluating. So we did that. We performed the operations inside the parentheses. Next step would be to take care of the exponents. Just like order of operations, parentheses, then exponents. So 5 squared. So 5 squared, remember, is 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. And then I have -6 squared. So that would be -6 times -6. Negative 6 times negative 6, that would be positive 36. So we're going to have positive 36. This then, next step in order of operations is going to be to then add here. We're going to still have that square root. That's our very last thing. So 25 plus 36. So 25 plus 36 is 61. 25 plus 36 is 61. So we have the square root of 61. So square root of 61, that's not going to be a perfect square. Nothing times nothing is going to be perfectly giving me 61. So I can take the square root of it. So I want to use my calculator. If you don't have a calculator that has the ability to find the square root, you could always go to Google and you could ask Google, what is the square root of 61? And it will give you the answer. Use your resources, okay? So if you ask, what is the square root of 61, you will find that the square root of 61, it's 7.8. I think it was like 1 something something something. So I'm just going to round it. So I'm going to say it's approximately 7.8. So our distance is going to be 7.18 units. Okay, so whatever it is, that would be the distance. So what that means is this. If I go back to the graph, here it was. So from the toddler area to the concession stand, what they're saying is that this from here to here, straight distance would be 7.8. So the quickest way between 2 points is a straight line. So that straight line would be about 7.8 units. In another task, we will actually find out what that actually breaks down to in an actual measurement. But for our blueprint, it's 7.8 units. So you're going to have to do the same thing for all of the different locations. This stops here at the bottom of this page and then goes on to the top of that next page. So just keep that in mind. So that is task 5, finding the distance between 2 points. Again, you're using this formula, plugging in and solve. Utilize a calculator if you have it. If you don't have a calculator, utilize search engines like Google. Just type in what you're trying to find the answer to, and it will provide that answer to you, okay? So that's about it. That's it for task 5. Thank you. Bye.